Hi Pisces, this is your general tarot reading for Pisces Sun, Moon and Ascendant or Rising sign for the month of November. Pisces, let's do as we always do. We're going to shuffle the cards and wait on all the right ones to come out for you, my love. And in the meantime, let's talk about the energies that you may feel throughout the month. So, we're leaving October, entering November, still under the influence of the big full moon that happened for you in Taurus, in your third house of communications and travel. It's also to do with siblings, brothers, sisters, cousins, so on. So there may have been something that came to a head for you at the end of October and still bleeding in a little bit to November, where there was some issue to do with communication. But very often the third house is where we get to see the difference between real communication and small-minded communication, where there's a kind of he said, she said kind of element to it. So things might have got a bit heated around some gossip. Now, the gossip may not have been directly aimed at you. Maybe it was. But it might have just have been some emotional words being said, emotional kind of nasty knee-jerk reactions, people being a bit spiteful and nasty, whatever the vibe was. You felt it. But what the good news is that you seem to come to the end of it. It's almost like you don't care anymore, if that makes sense, Pisces, because your mind isn't on the small details. Your mind isn't on the gossip. Your mind isn't on the small debates and petty arguments. Now your mind is moving to a different direction. It's where your soul wants to go, which is the sun, into the 9th house of travel, of expansion, of broadening your mind, of reconnecting again with your sense of faith, reconnecting with a higher ideology, with a greater understanding, where you essentially get to hold some sort of higher moral ground on some subject. So there's an element here of you separating yourself from people, maybe on the internet or in work, family members, friends or whatever, who are bickering a lot or who are just making noise. And you're saying, no, I need to go to a space where I'm just above all of that shit. And you get there, Pisces, you get there this month. It could involve a period of travel, maybe going somewhere just for a little break, or even daring to be a bit bolder and traveling far off, far away. A lot of the times, 9th house is in-laws, so some of you could be dealing with your in-laws this month. For those of you in relationships, you might have to see the in-laws. Yeah, but it'll all be good because the sun is shining on it. It's a nice atmosphere. Third house that you're leaving behind, the moon and Taurus, some communication that might have made you really feel like you were losing your self-confidence or your self-worth or your self-esteem. And again, I'll say to you, the good news is that you're leaving that behind. You don't seem, it's like water off a duck's back. That's what it is. It's water off a duck's back this month, Pisces, because you've bigger things to see, bigger places to go. 9th house is also a moment where you could really be considering going further with your education, getting in with very educated people and asking them to be your mentor or guide. Yeah, finding a wise person or guru, that could also be very 9th house stuff. So that's what you're at. But your mind is in Sagittarius, Mercury in Sagittarius. So you have maybe separated yourself from the office gossips or the small talk or the ridiculous toing and froing of nonsense arguments, because your mind wants to really focus on your career and focus on your own responsibilities. Say if it's a thing in work where you kind of push aside the office gossips to focus on taking the higher moral ground. Because why? Because you're more focused now on being more responsible, being the adult in your life. That's where Mercury is at. Now, often we say 10th house is career, so you could be very, very focused as we go into November on your career. But usually it's just where we stand out and are seen as a respectable person. So I wonder, is that why you want to separate yourself from the gossips and the noise and the chatter and the constantly moving, toing and froing. You want a little bit of distance so that you can focus on what your real responsibilities are now. Maybe you don't feel responsible anymore to those people who just like to talk useless stuff. Yeah, Venus there in Libra in the 8th house. She'll be going direct around November 16th. And this is where you get a huge level of support from other people this month. And even at the end of October, other people and their resources, maybe their money, maybe some equipment that they have, something that they have, might just be the real answer to some problems that you have. And you might really be feeling the love by the amount of people who step up and maybe help you if you've been going through a bit of a crisis. Yeah, particularly if you're going through a love crisis, maybe you didn't realize just how good it is to have nice friends. They could help you with this situation or help you out. So it's just a moment where you realize that other people and their resources and their help and their willingness to give you support just feels nice. It feels like a good vibe for you. Now Uranus, he is retrograding, going back into Aries, dipping in a little bit more into your 2nd house of finances. So he said, look, Pisces, I know that you are moving towards your future and it involves communication, maybe setting up a website, maybe setting up a blog, some sort of chat thing, maybe becoming a speaker or a teacher, you know, an educator in some way. That you have to go back a little bit though, he says, to kind of radically change some of the last little things that you need to let go of in terms of your own fears, your own self-doubt, your own insecurities. He wants to radically change that so that you feel more alive, more powerful and more confident, and to share this wonderful knowledge that you seem to have now. If it is something where you really want to get out there and share and communicate some of these wonderful ideas that you have, he's coming back to build up your confidence just that little bit more, because he's saying you're almost cooked. You're almost ready to receive this great moment where you can get out there and communicate what it is and share your ideas, maybe even sell some wonderful ideas that you have or things that the genius Pisces has invented. Yeah, but you're almost there. It's just this last thing of you not feeling that you have the confidence quite yet to receive all the blessings there, and also financially. The story here is that you are going to be shown how to radically change your whole perception about money, bringing in money in a radical new way that supports this future of abundance when it comes to communications. Yeah. So this is a great big time where you get to radically shake that up for a little while, for a few months, so that you are reminded that it is safe for you to travel. It is safe for you to get out there and explore what it is that you're trying to communicate. I wrote this down because I don't know why I thought of you when I saw this. It's a quote from Einstein, who is also a fellow Piscean. And he said, "A ship is always safe at shore, but that's not what it's built for." And I think that's part of what Uranus is trying to shake up in you. He's trying to remind you that, yeah, sure, you might have great ideas, genius things that you want to share out there in the world. You want to communicate, you want to teach, you want to open up to a broad range of people, to get out there buying and selling, moving and shaking, getting into the thick of the marketplace. But like that, the thing that you have, I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not worth anything. Like the ship, it's always safe to keep this thing to yourself. It's safe for the ship to stay at shore, but that's not what it was built for. And these wonderful ideas that you have, that you are almost ready to explode out there with, are meant exactly for that. They are meant to be shared. They are meant to be distributed. They are meant to be bought and sold. They are meant to be marketable. That's what they were designed for. That's what they were designed to be communicated for. These wonderful ideas were not just to amuse you, even though they probably did, but they were to be shared, my love, shared, shared, shared. Now, new moon in Scorpio on November 7th in your 9th house of travel. This again is an opportunity for you to get out there, get your passport ready, get moving, and begin this journey of maybe seeing if the things that you want to communicate in the future should be done in a different country. Maybe they should begin with getting further knowledge or further education by people from a foreign nationality or a different culture than you. You need to open it out a little bit. You need to dip your toe in the water this month and test drive something, but on a big scale with a lot of people, and see if the idea or this great thing that you have is marketable or saleable. And I think it is. I think it's just that your confidence needs to be shaken up a little bit so that you can finally feel that power to get out there and do that. Finally feel the power as the Emperor comes. Yes, he's saying it is possible to build your communications and media journalist or whatever it is empire. It's possible. You can do it, and it will give you power. It will build that media empire maybe that you're hoping to build, or whatever it is that you want to communicate out into the marketplace or out there into the world. Yeah. And you know, third house is in the future, you see yourself being more dynamic, more skilled, having more ability, being able to use your skills and talents, being able to be a dab hand at anything, a jack of all trades. And you're moving towards that too. So if there is something that you've been really hankering to learn, like learning a new language, learning the piano, the violin, learning how to be a mechanic, learning how to work computer systems, anything like that, you can do this. And not only can you do it, but you can be brilliant at doing it. Why am I hearing the word editing? Editing. Do some of you want to get involved in that aspect of media? Editing, programming, perhaps computer, things like that. Learning the computer languages. I don't even know what they're called. Java, is that one of them? See how little I know, but by the end of this, when you're finished with Uranus, you're going to know the names and meanings and words of everything. It's where we put labels on things, also naming things. Now, so the new moon is very focused on travel, so you could find yourself traveling or studying. So that's a wonderful time to do this now, or looking for higher inspiration also, Pisces. You always tune into that high inspiration. It's time to reconnect, my love. Time to reconnect. Now Jupiter, the big friendly giant, is moving into Sagittarius in your house of career. This is where it all opens up for you in terms of being seen as a key person, being seen as a respectable, responsible person that people will all turn to for your advice. When things are happening, they turn to Pisces. They will turn to you. They will recognize you as being high quality person who keeps their word, who has a good reputation, and who sticks with something. This is the place where something is, you endure something because you stick with it, and you stick with it like the Emperor because you're making your empire. So in terms of your career, this is a great moment to see your career just build into an absolute empire, Pisces, an empire. It begins now with Sagittarius expanding that. Some of you might feel that you want to take on some responsibilities, and maybe you might see your responsibilities growing. That could be responsibilities within your family or some team or project or something that you're doing. You're taking it far more seriously because you realize that you get lucky when you step out and be this key figure somehow. So Jupiter is expanding that, expanding being the boss of your own life. Expanding, taking control and taking charge of the direction of your life. Expanding, you feeling that you are capable pretty much of anything because the book will stop with you, Pisces. And Sagittarius is opening all of that up for you. all of that up. Yeah. So this little fish is going to become a bit of a shark if Jupiter has its way. Yeah, yeah. Or even the big whale in the big pool. That's what's coming. Now, Mars in Pisces, November 15th, embracing yourself tightly, using all your energy back on you, using all your energy and drive to focus on you and your beautiful dreams and wishes, and making space and time for you, and putting all the energy into very Piscean things. This is not a time, Pisces, to be putting your energy into other people's things. You have to put energy now only into the things that matter to you. As you build your empire and become the big whale in the big pool, your energy must all be going to work for you. This is what it's all about. Energy now must not be dissipated. It must be focused and totally working for you. So don't waste your energy on things that aren't all about you this month. And you're saying, that sounds a bit selfish. It's not. Not now. Not with Mars and Pisces. You have to focus on brushing up your appearance. Focus on presenting yourself well as you're becoming this great figure of authority. Maybe it's time to look at your image. What image do you portray out there? Do you need to brush that up? Do you need to maybe get up to date with your fashion? And maybe it's just about going and getting a haircut. But energy and drive is going into very Piscean things, which are also very spiritual things, very sympathetic things. So a lot of energy is going into you being caring, loving, sympathetic, psychic, intuitive, following your inner spidey senses. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Now, Mercury is retrograding on November 16th in Sagittarius in your 10th house. So, some ideas that you discarded along the way about your career, time to go back and pick them up. And even if it's not related to your career, some ideas you had a while back about standing out and being seen as the manager of your sports team. Yeah, or some key figure, the person who organizes art shows or art exhibitions, the person who organizes psychic fairs, something where you are the key figure. It's time to go back and relive that dream, revisit it, and see if you can dust it down and bring it back, because there could be great success in that, Pisces. Don't discard all those brilliant Piscean gems that sometimes wash up on the shore of your mind. They are given to you because you're open and you're receptive, and they are gifts that many other people don't get. So don't just say, oh, I can get a gift from the universe any old time I relax, I'm Pisces. Sometimes it's wise to take some of those gems and turn them into something valuable. Yeah. Now, Sun in Sagittarius on November 22nd again. It's about responsibilities this month. You're going to be holding the fort. You're going to be the boss. You're going to be in charge, especially towards the end of the month. You are beginning this journey where you are growing in your confidence, where you are trusting the things that you know, where you're not letting anybody be the boss of you. It's starting, Pisces. The big whale is coming. Now, full moon in Gemini, November 23rd, in your family house. So there may be an issue that needs to come to a head between you and your family. A conversation needs to be had. Maybe there's been some miscommunication, some things that were just lost in total emotional crazy translation. And it will come to a head towards the end of the month where you get to sort that out, or at least feel better about it. The fourth house is where you may also want to go and really talk about, that card came out, really talk about how you feel, the way you communicate now. Communicate your feelings, communicate your wants, communicate your needs. Open up and don't be one bit shy or embarrassed about saying what it is that you need. Step up and tell people that you also have needs, and that your voice isn't going to get lost amidst gossip and noise and chatter and nonsense. Yeah, if there are some things that you're trying to do within your home and family. You might see them coming to an end. Maybe what kind of things, maybe doing short distance travels to and fro with your family. You might be glad to see the back of that by the end of the month. Yeah. Now Neptune, your ruler, is going direct this month on the 24th. So this is a wonderful time where you feel that you are more inspired, that you are again becoming the great dream weaver. And as you are there, also becoming the boss, this is a moment for you to weave and dream up your new empire. How does it look? What is it going to be? What is the plan? What will I look like when I'm there? How does it feel to be the boss? So it's almost like you are beginning to plant that seed of that dream. You are picking up the threads and starting to knit them together to create this new beautiful dream tapestry for yourself. You are the dream weaver this month. So weave a beautiful dream, Pisces. Yes. Now, other things that might be happening. The sun on the 6th in your 9th house of travel. Yes, around the 6th of November. Education, travel, taking the higher moral ground on some situation just seems to suit you a whole lot better. Pisces, as I said, there are lots and lots of small fish out there doing the same old mediocre shit. Around the 6th of November, you suddenly get to see why you should be more confident, why you should trust in your great ideas more, because you actually know an awful lot more than you give your self-credit for. You're much better than you actually believe you are. So it's time to take a little bit of separation and put a little bit of distance between mediocrity and the genius that is Pisces. Yes. Now, other things that might be happening here. I missed something there. No, I didn't. November 9th, Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, and money, is in Libra in your 8th house. Some of you, this could be a great time where you find lost money. I'll repeat that. You find lost money. You could find buried treasure around November 9th. Some treasure just rises up. Now, I did say that you do have wonderful psychic treasures and inspirational treasures that rise up, but in this case, I think it's real long-range money coming to you. Some of you could be using your intuition, your psychic skills, your healing skills, the skills of being a wise counselor, the skills of being somebody who is prepared to do something that others just aren't willing to do or able to do. If that's something that you do, you could see a lot of money, long-range money coming beginning November 9th, where there's balance brought back to your finances. It could be an old insurance claim that you put in that might come back to you, or taxes that you didn't know were due to you might come back to you this month. That's gorgeous. We like that, Pisces. November 11th, the sun again in the 9th house of travel, doing something wonderful. You could be really feeling around November the 11th that you want to take a bit of travel time with your friends. Take a holiday with your pals. Maybe that's what it is, or with like-minded people. Now, I did forget to mention one very big thing, as the cards are so slow here. The North Node is shifting this month, moving into Cancer, a fellow water sign, into your 5th house. This is the house where courage is needed, where there is heart, like the lion, being brave, being bold, being inspirational, but also setting yourself apart from the crowd and doing something as an individual. Could you be doing something? Could you be doing something maybe on the internet, that because you have Saturn Pluto in the 11th house there, and also on the other side of the North Node there, the 11th. So I would say that maybe something very new age, technological, something groundbreaking, something possibly on the internet. You stand out as an individual. Don't follow the crowd. You've got to do your own thing. You've got to create, and you've got to express those beautiful Pisces things. As we talk about Saturn and Pluto in the 11th house. So I do believe that it's within a group of people, a team, a society, on the internet, doing cutting edge science or technology, doing something groundbreaking. You've got to stand out from the crowd and do something unique and individual that uses all your skills of communication. That Uranus is trying to remind you that you do actually have the confidence for this, you know. You can do this. You can step up and maybe make a career as the leader of a team, as the leader of a group of people, as an inspiration to others, possibly using social media or some other groundbreaking technology. You can do this, Pisces. You can do this. Now, the cards are quite slow. We're waiting on 4 more cards. Whoop. We're waiting on 4 more cards. And what have we got? We have 3 more cards. Success this month. Success that takes you out of feeling broken-hearted, brings you into your future. 1 more card. I love that. I love it. I love it. 1 more card. And that hopped out. What was that? The Empress. Abundance. This is a fabulous month for you, Pisces. A fabulous. I can see it in the cards. And I'll just say this again about the North Node. All focus now on separating yourself out from others, being an individual, cutting your teeth, so to speak, with your communication thing or media thing that you want to do in the future. Start doing it now. Start shaping your persona. Start building an identity. Start being an individual and share it. And do something that you love for a change. 5th house is about pleasure, doing things creative from the heart just because you get such joy from it. It's time. It's time, Pisces. It's time. Now, let's move over to the big grand overview, Pisces. As if by magic. As if by magic, we have an opening card telling us something here, which is a bit of a difficult thing. It's saying, you've been working hard, Pisces. We know that there's energy there with Jupiter in the 10th house, then later the Sun in the 10th house. You've been taking on a lot of responsibilities already, and that may get even more difficult as we go into the month of November. But here's the thing, these are responsibilities that you're willing to take on. This is like something that you're saying, I am prepared to work this hard. I am prepared to do X, Y, and Z. I am prepared to be a role model to somebody. I am prepared to be a responsible person within my family. So I am prepared to take on these responsibilities because I know that this is leading me towards feeling good and feeling like I'm winning and feeling like a success. And this burden that you're carrying, it also, there's a kind of an element of it nourishing you, feeding you. And this is water, North Node in Cancer, Sun in Scorpio, Mars in Pisces. So I see what's happening here. The energy now, the burdens that you're carrying to create something, like we said, the North Node is calling you to create and be an individual. The Sun in Scorpio calling you to expand your horizons. Don't be stuck. You've been stuck. Don't be stuck. And then Mars driving you to do something very unique and individual to you. So it's nourishing, it's beginning. The water is, this little seed is being watered. But you do recognize that it's hard work and it's a lot to take on. But it will pay off for you, Pisces. It will pay off. It certainly will. I like this card because this guy is holding a cup with a little fish in it, just like you. And maybe that's it. You're holding all these burdens, and at the moment you're holding up some evidence at the beginning of the month that you're doing okay. But did I not say to you through the reading that the little fish will eventually become a big whale once you accept that you have to carry a little bit of burden until you figure out how to master this. So this little fish will one day be the big whale because of the hard work you're doing. And I did say, as the King of Wands and the Emperor are looking down upon this, if you see the first row there, in approval, fire, Aries, Mars, and also Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries here. The spirit of optimism, the spirit of encouraging you, the spirit of expansion, the spirit of believing that what you touch will turn to gold, and also what you touch will eventually become your empire. You're doing something, Pisces, and at the moment it feels like slow and steady wins the race. I have another burden on my back. More burdens. But it's all in an effort to build this empire, to stand strong, to stand in control of your life, and to feel that you've conquered some fears, because fire is the great purifier. And what do we need to be purified? Mostly the things that we don't need, which are fears and doubts. Uranus is a great mighty flash of light, like a thunderbolt, that is instant fire, coming to remind you that you need more confidence, which is what Uranus is doing. Don't doubt yourself. Inside you, Pisces, there is such force. Mars is in there in Pisces again, reminding you of your force. Often when people see Pisces, they think that you're quite compliant, you're gentle, you're soft. What they don't always recognize is that it's a good job that you don't roar often, because if you roar, you would roar from such a dark and deep place that it would shut them all up. Because there is such strength and power in it, confidence, power, it's all coming back. And these burdens that you've taken on are all part of it. But I do see, even as you get into the beginning of the month, there is evidence. Because this card would suggest to me that there is evidence that you're seeing your empire is underway. There is evidence that you are feeling more confident in yourself. There is evidence that the work you're doing puts you into this position. It puts you into a strong leader's position. Remember, he is the leader. I think they're all going to follow Pisces this month, because Pisces, you are the leader. You have the cutting and leading edge to whatever it is you're doing. Here we have a Cancerian card. Now we do know that the North Node is moving into Cancer, promising you huge success if you go with it, if you really travel with this. Now I do know some of you are traveling, so there could be great success in traveling abroad, spending a bit of time, a long period abroad, even moving abroad, or moving far away to another country, another state, another city. There could be great luck in that for you, Pisces. This is the card of victory, success. Sometimes it's also the card of feeling that raw, primal passion to succeed at any cost. Sometimes this is the card of being on the warpath, where the warrior gets into his chariot because he means business. And I think you do mean business this month, Pisces. The game is up. You're not playing at this anymore. You're not tinkering away at something. You're not just kind of faffing away at something. You're getting serious about making a success of something in your life. But it may involve you traveling in order for that to happen. But certainly traveling or opening up what you're doing to foreign people. Foreign people may be very instrumental in this, very instrumental. Now look what we have here. Look at all the major arcana you have. You have the Emperor, the Chariot, the Sun, the Devil, the Star, the Empress. Talk about big changes going on for you this month, Pisces. Big positive changes, because the Sun is getting rid of all the shadows that were brought up by Saturn in the 11th house. Did you fear that you weren't up to speed in your career? Maybe you've been out of the loop, or you didn't feel that you were up to speed. You didn't feel you were good enough within your career. Now I know I'm saying career, but it doesn't always apply to career. There was something that you didn't feel that you were good enough to do. And here comes the Sun to heal that. Sometimes this is quite a 5th house card, the Sun shining over, the 5th house shining over the 11th house. So the Sun is going to conquer your fears. The Sun is going to conquer fears around groups of friends, the fears you had around, maybe you felt socially awkward. Maybe you were losing friends, didn't know how to keep your friends whole. Maybe there was just some great big fear around some team, some friends, work teams, sports teams, social media. Fear. I don't want to put myself out there on social media because I fear it. I fear that I can't control it. Well, the sun is saying, I've got this. I'm shining all over that. There are no dark spaces once I am shining my super illumination over these fears. So don't doubt that you can get out there and separate yourself as an individual, because you can. Now, some of the fears that you're experiencing is actually stepping away from the crowd. To be an individual, maybe you fear being pointed at, jeered, laughed at for something that you want to do. Maybe you want to get into a different type of group of friends, a different relationship. Maybe you want to get into a different style or trend. Maybe you have a great idea that's way too far-reaching for most people to comprehend. And maybe you fear stepping out and sharing that. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Yeah, the sun is healing all of those fears. By the way, you've the influence here of Aries, very much so, Cancer, Leo, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Taurus. And I did say Venus, the goddess of love and money, is in the 8th house of other people's resources. So maybe it's an Aries, a Leo, a Capricorn, a Cancer, an Aquarius, or a Taurus who may have something that you need to push you forward in finding this new space that you want to be in, with a new environment, with new groups of people. Maybe you just want to get out and get away from your existing environment, and you've been afraid to do that. You've been afraid to travel. You've been afraid to spread your wings, find new love, find new relationships with people who are more like you, but yet at the moment they seem so far away and unobtainable. You can have it, Pisces. You can have it. Because here we go. This month begins the great victory, with the sun shining over the devil, conquering your fears, with the Chariot, the card of triumph and success and winning over something. Once you make that first move, once you really start believing and moving. And here we have another victory. This is also a sun card where we receive glory, where laurel crowns, laurel leaves are thrown at us, where people are impressed with what we've done. Some people might see it as a great victory, that you triumph over your fears, you triumph over the things that have hurt you in the past. Maybe you've had a very difficult past, a very difficult few years, and now November gives you the evidence that you are victorious through all of this. The vibe that's jumping up off these cards, Pisces, is victory, evidence, concrete evidence that the gods are on your side, concrete evidence that the pain is coming to an end, that the fears are being healed, that you have people watching over you and applauding you as you go and make something of yourself. Traveling, experiencing. This is the guy who is the most experienced of them all. He has seen the world and conquered it. Maybe that's what you want to do. See the world and conquer something there. Conquer your fear of traveling too, maybe. Conquering your fear of moving outside of your old tried and tested environment, your old comfort zone. But when you do, you kind of break that curse. You break the spell of feeling that you've been stuck and hurt in one place, in one relationship, in one situation. And here we have the star, the future, promising you great abundance. Pisces, really, if you're doing something this month creatively, some project, something that you're doing in work, expanding into traveling, brainstorming to get your communication ideas together, if you've some big educational thing that you want to do, going back to study, your future, Aquarius, the future is full of abundance. It's full of glory. It's full of ripe sweetness. This is where the good stuff is, where Venus is sitting in the earthy position. Taurus, Virgo, where hard work and the gathering of high quality things, the gathering of money happens. The gathering of bringing balance back into your financial world happens. Bounty, beauty, the cornucopia of everything that you've always wanted. It begins showing signs this month that it can happen. As long as you stay optimistic about your future, it will happen. This is the card of being optimistic. This is the card of being sure that the seeds you're sowing now will carry you into the future. When it comes to love, sow the seed of love, and it will bring you towards Venus in her most beautiful position there as the beautiful Empress. Notice you have the Emperor and the Empress in your reading. You're building something, Pisces. You're building yourself. You're building your reputation, but you're also building momentum to arrive at a point in the future where your skills of communication and creativity and getting out there as an individual, away from the crowd, away from the normal people that you hang out with, away from the old tried and tested environments, and you get your empire. You get the promise, which was abundance. You're growing, Pisces. You are growing from the little fish into the big whale. I love it, Pisces. I love it. I love it. I love it. Before I go, I was going to say there's a bit of energy. There's a good bit of energy happening for you in your career. Some very positive things happening for you this month. And there's also a wonderful opportunity for you to make money using some of these deep and hidden skills that you have. That's why I touched upon those of you who are healers, who use energy, who use the psychic arts. And I do read the comments. I read the comments from the October readings. Absolutely incredible what most of you are doing. I don't pretend to understand half of it, but I know it's groundbreaking, where it involves energy and technology and healing and something mysterious, unearthing something hidden. Keep with it and work hard, and it will bear not just fruit, but a whole bounty. And it begins this month. It's not all going to happen in November, but you're going to see it show evidence and show reward. And you might see the first fruits falling onto your beautiful lap. So Pisces, I love it. I love it. The big whale is swimming up to the big pond. Now, Pisces, before I go, I want to share something with you. I am doing something brand new this month. I am doing new readings called the Deep Read on Vimeo. And essentially what they are, Pisces, is every month I will still do this. The readings will be exactly the same month after month. They'll be there. But I'm doing a deeper read where I go into the details of the month, where I go into issues about love, relationships, money, finance, career, money, finance, they're the same thing, family, friends, luck, other situations that might come up in the month. I really dig deep and explore what they might be. Now they're roughly around 60 minutes, some longer, some shorter, so that they're quite in depth. That's why they're called the Deep Read. But I want to share that with you, and I've linked it down below, and I would love you to follow it. Now, I will say this, I have kept the price as low as I possibly could, considering they're quite long videos and very detailed videos. So I hope that it's something that you can do, and if you can do it, please come along and let me know what you thought of it, and if it's something that you want to see continued on into the future. So Pisces, with that all in mind, and hoping that you'll come to see the premiere of the Deep Read, I'm going to leave it at that. Pisces, I wish you a wonderful November. I wish you every luck and every success. And I'm going to leave you with a big kiss. Mwah! And all my love, Pisces. Love you. Bye.